Hello students, welcome to the class. We know that a macromolecule is a very large molecule, such as a protein, that is composed of thousands of covalently bonded atoms. Many macromolecules are the polymerization of smaller molecules called monomers. The most common macromolecules, especially in biochemistry, are biopolymers, which includes nucleic acids, proteins, and carbohydrates, and large non-polymeric molecules such as lipids and macrocycles. So we can define macromolecules as a molecule of high relative molecular mass, the structure of which essentially comprises the multiple repetition of units, derived actually or conceptually from molecules of low relative molecular mass. And on the other hand, biological macromolecules are large molecules necessary for life that are built from smaller organic molecules. We know that there are four major classes of biological macromolecules, that is carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So students, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss the principles of molecular association and organization as exemplified in biological macromolecules like nucleic acids, proteins, and enzymes. So let's get started. So we know that nucleic acids are macromolecules present in the living organisms, and every living cell contains conjugated proteins called as nucleoproteins. Further, on hydrolysis, these nucleoproteins break up into a prosthetic part called nucleic acid and protein part consisting of protamines and histones. Nucleic acids are colorless, water-soluble solids having high molecular weight biopolymers. Just as the backbone of protein molecule is a polyamide chain, which is called as polypeptide chain, the backbone of the nucleic acid molecule is a polyester chain, which is called as polyphosphate. The nucleic acids, that is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acids, and RNA, ribonucleic acids, are polynucleotides. That is, they are polymers containing nucleotides as the repeating subunits. DNA is a polynucleotide of the four nucleotides, that is, they contain adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine as the base. The nucleotides are joined to one another through phosphodiester linkage between 3' carbon of one nucleotide and 5' carbon of the adjacent one. This linkage is repeated many times to build up large structures containing hundreds to millions of nucleotides within a single giant molecule. DNA is a major nucleic acid in the nucleus of the cell. It contains the pentose sugar, deoxyribose, as one of its chemical constituents. Therefore, DNA is known to be a genetic material. The other type of nucleic acid, that is RNA, contains ribose instead of deoxyribose. Its main role is in the transmission of the genetic information from DNA into proteins. DNA molecules are very large, much larger than proteins. RNA is more comparable to proteins in size. And complete hydrolysis of DNA or RNA by acid cleaves it into a mixture of nitrogenous bases, 2-deoxy-D-ribose or D-ribose for RNA and orthophosphate. Two general types of nitrogenous bases in both DNA and RNA are pyrimidines and purines. Pyrimidines are derivatives of the heterocyclic compound, that is pyrimidine, and purines are derivatives of the fused ring compound, that is purine. And we know that the major pyrimidines found in DNA are thymine and cytosine, and in RNA they are uracil and cytosine. The major purines found in both DNA and RNA are adenine and guanine. DNA is a duplex molecule in which two polynucleotide chains or strands are linked to one another through specific base pairing. Adenine in one strand is paired to the thymine and guanine is paired to cytosine. We know that supramolecular chemistry is one of the new areas of chemistry, which deals with secondary interactions rather than covalent bonds in molecules. And so it focuses on chemical systems that is made up of a discrete number of assembled molecular subunits or components, and the forces responsible for spatial organizations may vary from weak intermolecular forces to strong covalent bonding. However, the use of principles of supramolecular chemistry has led to the better understanding of structures of biological macromolecules. Now, for instance, elucidation of double helical structure of DNA, that is by Watson and Crick, occurred when it was realized that there are two separate strands of nucleotides connected through hydrogen bonds. And the use of non-covalent bond is essential to replication because they allow the strands to be separated and used to template new double-stranded DNA. So students, we can conclude that nucleic acids are the main information-carrying molecules of the cell, and by directing the process of protein synthesis, they determine the inherited characteristics of every living things. And two main classes of nucleic acids are DNA and RNA, and that nucleic acids are polynucleotides. Next is proteins. Proteins are an important class of biological macromolecules present in all animal and plant cells, constituting 50% or more of their dry weight. The name protein is derived from the Greek word proteos, meaning of the first rank, is meant to highlight its fundamental importance in the very life processes itself. Due to their ability to perform a variety of functions, proteins represent the single most versatile class of compounds. Studies have shown that different proteins that have been isolated so far are in pure crystalline form, containing 46 to 55% of carbon, 6 to 9% of hydrogen, 12 to 20% of oxygen, 10 to 32% of nitrogen, and 0.2 to 0.3% of sulfur. Some proteins also contain additional elements like phosphorus in nucleoproteins, iron in hemoglobin, etc. Chemically, proteins are polymers of alpha amino acids bonded by peptide linkages similar to polypeptides. We know that biochemists have distinguished the structure of proteins in 4 stages, that is, primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structure. The primary structure of proteins is extremely important as other levels of protein structure are dependent on it. Consider the primary structure of proteins that provides information about the nature and number of alpha amino acids unit, that is, present in a polypeptide chain along with sequence of different alpha amino acids, that is, arranged in the molecule. The secondary structure deals with how the polypeptide chains are held together by intermolecular hydrogen bonding between amino group and carbonyl group. The secondary structure deals with the different conformations of polypeptide chains. The stability of secondary structure increases with increase in number of hydrogen bonds. The X-ray analysis have revealed that there are 2 types of secondary structures called as pleated sheet and alpha helix. Consider pleated sheet structure. The peptide chain lies side by side in a zigzag form joined by hydrogen bonds. the hydrogen bonded peptide chain can either run in the same direction, that is parallel, or opposite direction, that is anti-parallel beta pleated sheet. And alpha helical structure, as the secondary structure of protein changes with peptide chains having larger side chain. Each peptide chain coils up to form a helix-like structure, like spiral staircase. The intramolecular hydrogen bonds are formed between carbonyl group and amino group in different parts of the same chain. Such structure is referred as helical structure. Tertiary structure, on the other hand, describes the entire protein molecule that is coiled and folded into an overall three-dimensional shape, providing maximum stability to the protein molecule. Whereas the quaternary structure of proteins contain two or more chains, that is referred as oligomeric proteins. The individual chain is known as subunit or protomers, and the manner in which these subunits are organized in space is called the quaternary structure. The subunits are held together by the same kind of interactions that hold the individual protein chain in a three-dimensional conformations through hydrogen bonding, electrostatic attractions, and hydrophobic interactions. Next is enzymes. Enzymes are proteins that act as biological catalyst, that is biocatalyst. We know that catalysts accelerate the chemical reactions. The molecules upon which enzymes acts are called substrates, and the enzymes convert the substrate into different molecules known as products. Almost all metabolic processes in the cell needs enzyme catalysis in order to occur at rates faster enough to sustain life. Metabolic pathways depend upon enzymes to catalyze individual steps. The study of enzymes is called enzymology. In the year 1877, German physiologist Wilhelm Kuhnke first used the term enzyme that comes from the Greek word in East. Further, enzymes can be classified by two main criteria: either amino acid sequence similarity or enzymatic activity. Enzymes are generally globular proteins acting alone or in large complexes. The sequence of the amino acids specify the structure which determines its catalytic activity. So students, we have discussed that Emil Fischer introduced the philosophical roots of supramolecular chemistry by suggesting lock and key mechanism for enzyme substrate interactions, which is considered as the fundamental principle of molecular recognition and host-guest chemistry. So, we can conclude that recognition in 1894 by Emil Fischer that binding must be selective as part of the study of receptor-substrate binding by enzymes, where he described this by a lock and key image of steric fit, in which the guest has a geometric size or shape, complementarity to the receptor or host. This concept laid the basis for molecular recognition, the discrimination by a host between a number of different guests. So students, in today's lecture, we have discussed principles of molecular association and organizations as exemplified in biological macromolecules like nucleic acids, proteins, and enzymes.